Well, Mr. Kahn, this is such a monumental day in broadcasting, the day that we launch BNC, and I'm very curious to know what was it that brought you on board with this project and made you think that it was worthwhile?
Well, I mean, you got to remember J.C. Watt, Bob Brilliante, they'd been dreaming of this for a long, long time. And, you know, when I heard about it and talked to them, I was really drawn to it because I think there are audiences, I mean, there are Americans who are not represented well by the national media, and obviously right at the top would be African Americans. So to me, this was like, you know, how do we really present the information, and how do we amplify really the voices, the sounds, so it really does good.
Wonderful. Now, you have an extremely interesting background. Born in Pakistan, came to America for a better life, and went to school for engineering, became this huge, wonderful worldwide entrepreneur. Tell us about your journey.
Well, you know, I was obviously, you know, born in Pakistan, came when I was 16 to Champaign-Urbana, University of Illinois, went to engineering school. And, you know, my dad was a small-time entrepreneur in Pakistan. Obviously, life is hard, and both of my parents wanted a better life for me, and so education was the key. You get education, and then you better yourself. You know, after I had an engineering degree, obviously I worked in factories. I think that's my day job is. I think being here, you know, obviously it's a great day to be part of BNC today. You know, I've spent a lifetime in factories, and so see how you make product, but really what it is, you know, to have a job and, you know, put food on the table and put kids through school, make a home mortgage.
To build things is what you do, and you're quite the trailblazer in another arena as the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars football franchise, the only person of color to own an NFL franchise. What kind of a challenge has that been, working with the rest of the owners and to just kind of be your own guy, bring your own flavor to the game of football?
Yeah, you know, obviously I've loved football. So for me, you know, when I wanted to be in the NFL, it was really chasing an American dream. And it's like anything else, you know, you're not going to be successful as a rule the first time you try something. And certainly for me, you know, I stumbled along the way, but eventually succeeded in acquiring a team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think it's been a fabulous experience. I mean, I had no idea how powerful the NFL is, how it really impacts people, what a powerful economic engine it is for the communities, and how it can change lives.
And just to follow up on that, you've also taken it international in a way that I think a lot of people really didn't expect, playing games in London.
Yeah.
How's that been?
I think it's been great because Jacksonville, I think, is a small market. And, you know, when I was introduced, for me, it was I'm going to do everything to keep football, NFL football, in Jacksonville. So how do we do that? And a logical solution to me was really we want to expand the fan base. And we don't want to put extra pressure on our fans in Jacksonville to be able to, you know, support all the games. We want to play to a full stadium and yet make it easier for them. So playing games outside the country, really it's turned out great for us. I think our fans have traveled with us. We've got a lot of fans outside the U.S., and it's really been a win-win for everybody. Been great for the league too. I mean, there are other NFL teams now that have followed us in London, so it's great to have, you know, a much bigger following of NFL supporters.
And football has really put you on the map. You were not as well known before you got the team, and I'm sure so many people want advice from you. Young people of color, everybody would like advice. What would you tell people who want to pursue the avenues that you have?
Well, I think first of all, what you have to do is, I think, when you are a minority or you are a person of color, we don't have the network or the relationships that maybe somebody more established would do. So having connections, talking to people, collecting information, I think is absolutely vital. And after that, you have to strive. You have to accept it's going to be hard, and you can't give up. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's absolutely, what you have to do. You got to be on a mission and keep going.
So you identify with the African American struggles?
Absolutely, I do. As a matter of fact, a lot of, the factories I have, as the largest investment in Detroit, I would say in the last 25 years, is our factory. Love for you to come out there. It's right in the heart of the city. And over 90% of our employees are African Americans. That's the area. Totally devastated, and it's been great economic development. Because of our great customer, Ford Motor Company, to serve them in Chicago, the logical thing would be to go to Indiana, because Illinois really doesn't enjoy the economic climate it should. But I chose to build it right on the south side of Chicago. So we would be, creating good middle-class jobs in the areas that need it.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And your portfolio is so diverse. That's what impresses me a lot. You have the NFL team, yes, but you also have the soccer franchise. And you also have All Elite Wrestling. You're one of the founding partners there, and that's taking off pretty well.
Yeah. It's, my wife and I were blessed. We've got 2 great kids, and our son, Tony, who's also a University of Illinois grad, he really had this dream. He's a big wrestling fan, and I think it's kind of evolved over time, and it was his mission how to bring it back to a whole new generation of fans who maybe, had lost touch with it. So I helped him really coming up with a business case and then supporting him, but, obviously it's taken off and it's done really well.
Now, is it fair to compare, as I look at what we're doing today with the launching of BNC, sports guy, honing professional teams? It reminds me of a guy named Ted Turner, who people always said, well, it's not going to work, and it kind of worked out for him. Is it fair to compare your experience to his in some small way?
Well, Ted Turner, obviously, he's an iconic, trailblazing American, and his mission was obviously, news, 24-hour news. I think here, BNC, obviously, it's J.C. Watt and, Bob, they're the missionaries on that. But I think for me, and my background obviously is automotive parts, so some similarities, but a lot of differences. For me, you get to a station in life where, you have the relationships, you have the ability to invest, and you want to make a difference. And all of the things you've kind of outlined are all about really having a solvent business which can make a difference. And one without the other really is not sustainable. And that's why, you want to invest, you want to start something, you want to make a difference, but set it up on a solid foundation where it can go on in the future.
Excellent. Now, Shad, you mentioned your children,
Yeah.
and they're both accomplished, your son and your daughter. Tell me, having a daughter, I know that you promoted a lot of women in your organizations.
Yeah.
Shauna, has she been an inspiration to you in that sense?
She's been a great inspiration, yeah. And, she's doing a lot. A lot of it maybe is not public or doesn't get the visibility, but I think, she's been a visionary in a lot of different things. A creative outlet, and, if you love to get her, on our segment, what it is, to be a diverse girl.
And you have a lot of women in leadership roles in your organizations.
Absolutely, we do. And I think, I'll give you an example. My mother was a math teacher, okay? And so the power of a successful woman, a powerful woman. I mean, and my mom, you know, she was raised in a household by a single mother with 9 kids in pre-partition India. So I mean, it was very powerful. I mean, it was very poor, but it was a really powerful experience. So from a very young age, you know, I've been surrounded by powerful women, strong women, and you know, my daughter, and really, well, when you look at it, if you want to hire the best people, statistically, half of them have to be women, right? So it's a very, very logical answer. And if you look at a successful company, it has to represent the community. So, you know, approximately 1/5 should be African American, right? And you have to have the openness to embrace it and realize that you're doing it not because it's a worthy cause, it's good for you. The smartest, most competent people, half of them are going to be women. Well, like right here. Okay.
Well, and I think you're probably welcome on her show anytime. Your daughter is. Yeah. But let me take a moment just to thank you for allowing us to be a part of this experience and this journey that we're embarking on today. And it's a privilege to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. I mean, this is first step in a 1,000-mile journey, so I'm really looking forward to the journey.
Any other final thoughts that you have about this monumental, I mean, this is huge, launching a network. This just doesn't happen every day. Now you're in another elite group of people. NFL ownership is one thing, but owning a network is another level. How does it feel?
Well, I think, you know, what's more important is how is it going to feel to the people who are watching this show, okay? I think this is a show about them. How do we empower them? How do we amplify their voice, their needs, and most importantly, how you take the individual power and turn it into something good. So I think if we look at it a year from now, we want to say, well, did you do good? I think was the mission accomplished.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give it our best.
Good.
Absolutely.
Well, we're counting on it. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shad Kahn. Appreciate your time.